Hey, welcome to the English Beat. I'm Ben. If this is your first time here, grab something warm to drink, turn the lights down, and let me steal the next 25 minutes of your life with a story that has been whispered across America for almost 100 years. No interruptions, no explanations yet. Just pure, beautiful, chilling English. When the story ends, I'll come back and hand you every single golden word and phrase on a silver plate. Ready? Close the door. Here we go. It was October 28th, 1979, 10 years to the night after the accident that nobody in Willow Creek ever talked about anymore, at least not out loud. Daniel Carter was 24, broad-shouldered, quiet, the kind of guy who worked the night shift at the steel plant because the overtime paid for his mom's medicine. He lived in a small apartment above the hardware store on Main Street, but on Fridays, he always drove the long way home along old Route 47, 47 miles of cornfields, abandoned barns, and telephone poles that leaned like tired old men. That night, the sky was the color of a bruise. Rain came down in sheets, the kind that makes your headlights feel useless. His 1972 Chevy Nova coughed every time he went over 50, but Daniel didn't mind. The worse the weather, the fewer cops on the road, and he was bone-tired. The radio had given up 20 minutes earlier. All he could pull in was static and the occasional ghost of a country station singing about lost love and whiskey. Daniel tapped the steering wheel to the memory of the tune, eyes half closed, just trying to stay awake. That's when the headlights caught her. She stood perfectly still on the shoulder, one pale arm raised like a schoolgirl asking permission to speak. White dress, not cream, not off-white, but funeral white, clinging to her body like it had been painted on by the rain. Long black hair stuck flat to her cheeks and neck. No coat, no shoes, bare feet on wet gravel. Daniel's foot lifted off the accelerator before his brain even finished the thought. You don't see girls like that on Route 47 at 2:15 in the morning. You just don't. He rolled the passenger window down 2 inches. Rain blew in and speckled the seat. You okay out there? He called. She didn't answer. She simply nodded, teeth chattering so hard he could hear them over the storm, and pointed straight ahead down the endless black road. Daniel hesitated for exactly 2 seconds, the same 2 seconds every version of this story has in common, then reached across and popped the door open. She slipped in like smoke. Cold air rushed in with her, and with it a faint smell, wet earth, lilies left too long in a vase, and something metallic he couldn't place. He cranked the heater to full blast. Hot air roared out of the vents. I'm Daniel, he said, eyes flicking between her and the road. Where you headed? Willow Lane, she whispered. The voice was soft, almost childlike, the kind of voice that makes you lean in to hear better. It's not far. Daniel stole another glance. She sat straight-backed, hands folded in her lap like she was in church. Water dripped from the ends of her hair and made tiny dark stars on the vinyl seat. You live there alone? He asked, trying to make conversation. She turned her head, slowly, and looked at him with eyes the color of rain on asphalt. I used to, she said. A shiver crawled up Daniel's spine that had nothing to do with the cold. He cleared his throat. Here, take this. He shrugged out of the old denim jacket on the back seat and handed it over. She accepted it with both hands, like it was something precious, and wrapped it around her shoulders without putting her arms through the sleeves. "Thank you, Daniel," she said, and for the first time the corners of her mouth lifted. It wasn't quite a smile. More like the memory of one silence fell again, thicker now. The only sounds were the rain, the wipers, and the occasional groan of the engine as it climbed a low hill, mile after mile disappeared behind them. Finally, after what felt like both forever and no time at all, she spoke again. "Turn left up here the gravel road after the red mailbox." Daniel saw the mailbox, paint chipped, leaning sideways like it had given up. He signaled, out of habit, not because anyone was watching, and turned. Gravel pinged against the wheel wells. Trees closed overhead and turned the world into a dripping tunnel. A house appeared. Big Victorian, the kind you see in old photographs, peeling white paint, wraparound porch, one weak yellow bulb burning above the front door like a candle someone forgot to blow out. Daniel rolled to a stop. The engine ticked as it cooled. "This it?" he asked. She was already reaching for the door handle. "Yes. Thank you, Daniel." She opened the door, stepped out into the rain, bare feet splashing in puddles, and closed the door softly behind her. Daniel watched her climb the 3 porch steps. She never looked back, not once. That's when he noticed. She was still wearing his jacket. He muttered something under his breath that would have made his mother wash his mouth out with soap, threw the car into park, and jogged after her through the downpour. By the time he reached the porch, his shirt was plastered to his skin, and his boots were full of water. He knocked. 3 sharp raps that sounded too loud in the quiet. The door opened almost immediately. An older woman stood there, maybe 65, wearing a faded blue robe and slippers. Her eyes were red and swollen, the skin around them papery and thin. "I'm really sorry to bother you, ma'am," Daniel said, water dripping from his hair onto the welcome mat. "The girl I just dropped off, she forgot my jacket." The woman stared at him as if he were speaking a foreign language. Then her gaze dropped to the denim jacket in his hands. Her hand flew to her mouth. A small, wounded sound escaped. That's impossible," she whispered. Daniel felt the first real twist of fear in his stomach. What's impossible? The woman reached out, slowly, like she was afraid the jacket might bite, and touched the frayed cuff. "This belonged to my daughter Emily," she said. "She was wearing it the night she died." The porch light flickered once, as if agreeing. 10 years ago tonight," the woman continued, voice cracking. "October 28th, 1969. She was walking home from her boyfriend's house. A drunk driver came around the curve too fast, never even braked. They said she was killed instantly." Daniel's mouth went dry. The rain suddenly felt warm compared to the cold sliding down his back. "Every year on this night," the woman went on, tears spilling now, "someone stops, someone kind. They pick her up, they bring her home, and every year she leaves something behind, a scarf, a necklace, this time, your jacket." Daniel looked down. The jacket was bone dry, not one drop of rain on it, even though he had been standing in the storm for a full minute. He looked past the woman into the hallway. A framed photograph on the wall showed a smiling, dark-haired girl in a white dress, holding a denim jacket exactly like the one in his hands. Same eyes. Same sad half-smile. Behind him, thunder rolled slow and low across the fields. Daniel backed away until his heels hit the top step. I'm sorry," he managed. The woman only nodded, clutching the jacket to her chest like a baby. Daniel turned and walked quickly back to his car. He didn't run. Grown men don't run. But his legs weren't exactly steady either. He slid behind the wheel, slammed the door, and gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles went white. Only then did he notice the passenger seat. It was completely dry. No water, no wet prints, no smell of rain or lilies. Just one thing. A single white petal, soft and perfect, lying exactly where she had been sitting. Daniel never drove Route 47 again. Not at night, not ever. Some nights, when the wind is right, people say you can still see her. White dress, bare feet, one arm raised, waiting under the same dripping trees, waiting for someone kind enough to give her a ride home. And that is the full, unfiltered story of the Vanishing Hitchhiker. If your heart is racing right now, you're not alone. Okay, lights on, deep breath. Now, as promised, here is your monster vocabulary masterclass. More than 80 expressions, words, phrasal verbs, and real native phrases taken straight from the story. Repeat after me when I say, you say. And you'll sound like you grew up on American back roads. Bone-tired, completely exhausted. After 12 hours at work, I was bone-tired. In sheets, rain falling very heavily. The rain was coming down in sheets. We couldn't see the road. Coughed of an engine, made a rough, unhealthy sound. My old motorbike coughed twice and started. Shoulder of a road, the hard strip beside the main road. He pulled onto the shoulder to check the map, clinging to, stuck tightly, usually because wet. Her wet dress was clinging to her legs, plastered to completely flat and stuck because of water. His hair was plastered to his forehead, chattering teeth, making noise from cold or fear. It was -15, and my teeth were chattering uncontrollably. Cranked something to full blast, turned it to maximum. I cranked the music to full blast and sang along. Stole a glance, looked quickly and secretly. During the meeting, he stole a glance at his phone, straight-backed, sitting with perfect posture. She always sits straight-backed, like a princess.